She should have never been confirmed. Shame on every Republican in the Senate who put this wildly unqualified person into a position of significance in the Department of Homeland Security so she could unleash brutalization on everyday Americans, American citizens, and law-abiding immigrant families. It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ICE permanently. 1 year into the Trump administration, the situation here in America is a complete and total disaster. Donald Trump and Republicans have failed the American people in every possible way. The cost of living is completely and totally out of control. Housing costs out of control. Grocery costs out of control. Electricity bills out of control. Healthcare costs out of control. Child care costs out of control. America is way too expensive, and Donald Trump and the Republican Party has done nothing about it. Under Republican policies, costs haven't gone down in America, costs have gone up, including for reasons that relate directly to Trump's tariffs, which have increased costs by thousands of dollars per year on everyday Americans. We have a broken healthcare system and a Republican healthcare crisis. Republicans have enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics have closed because of toxic Republican policies in the one big ugly bill. And Republicans in the Senate refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which is going to skyrocket health care costs for tens of millions of Americans who will be unable to afford to go see a doctor when they need one. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to cut costs in America. Instead, the Republican Department of Homeland Security is cutting down American lives in cold blood. It's completely and totally unacceptable. Taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not brutalize everyday Americans or kill American citizens. But that's exactly what's happening right now in the United States of America, which is why dramatic change is needed with the Department of Homeland Security before any appropriations bill related to ICE or CBP proceeds. That's the Democratic position, because that's the position of the American people. Questions?
Good morning, thank you. Last March, you and Leader Schumer didn't seem to be quite on the same page when there was a question of government funding here. So are you confident that what they're going to do next door is going to reflect what the position is on the House when it comes to this? Are you engaged in what he says, if they come up with an agreement with the White House to advance these spending bills, that that's going to be in sync with what House Democrats will like?
First of all, that question is so March of 2025. Like all the things, hold on. You asked the question, I provide the answers. All of the things that have transpired since almost a year ago, including uniform Democratic opposition to the one big ugly bill, because we objected together, House and Senate Democrats, every single one of us, to the fact that Republicans cut more than $1 trillion from Medicaid. They enacted the largest cut to nutritional assistance in American history by ripping away food literally from the mouths of children, seniors, and hungry veterans. And they did all of that so they could enact massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors, and in the same ugly bill, add $191 billion to the Department of Homeland Security, including giving $75 billion to ICE. So this killing machine could be unleashed on the American people. And you're asking me about what happened in March of 2025, when every single House Democrat and every single Senate Democrat stood against that bill And for 43 days in the fall, during the Trump Republican government shutdown, together we raised the issue of saving the health care of the American people. And everybody knows who won the narrative in connection with the Trump Republican shutdown, because House and Senate Democrats, Leader Schumer, all of us in the House, overwhelming majority of Senate Democrats stood together. We're winning election after election after election. Republicans are being crushed. Donald Trump's approval rating is underwater, including as it relates to the economy, health care, and immigration. These extremists are completely and totally on the run. So yes, short answer, we are on the same page. Now, with respect to what emerges from the Senate, as is always the case, we will evaluate whatever bill comes over to us on its merits. Thanks. Second row.
You've said that you are going to commence impeachment proceedings against Kristi Noem if she's not fired. At what point do you say, okay, she's not being fired, we're commencing these proceedings? And have you had any conversations with Republicans that you think will rally with that effort?
I have not specifically spoken to any Republican other than Speaker Mike Johnson as it relates to the appropriations bill. I did reiterate in my conversation with Speaker Johnson that we intend to proceed with impeachment proceedings if Kristi Noem is not fired. Kristi Noem is a complete and total embarrassment. She's a disgrace. And on top of all of that, she's presided over the cold-blooded killings of American citizens, like Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy. Unacceptable. She should have never been confirmed. Shame on every Republican in the Senate who put this wildly unqualified person into a position of significance in the Department of Homeland Security so she could unleash brutalization on everyday Americans, American citizens, and law-abiding immigrant families. It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ICE permanently. She's got to go. And by the way, she's not the only one. Stephen Miller is the architect of Donald Trump's toxic immigration policies. He's a stone-cold liar. He's a bigot. He's a hateful individual. He's a malignant, unelected interloper. He needs to go as well. Why does Donald Trump, if he truly is trying to change direction, have these people around? So when we evaluate the administration's intentions, we're not interested in a change in tone. We're interested in a change in behavior on the ground in American communities across the country and as it relates to the people who are around Donald Trump.